Hi everybody, welcome to lesson number 8. That will be a very short introduction about double counterpoint. So what is double counterpoint? Through double counterpoint we can write melodies like one and another here, and one of those can be transposed by one or more octaves, and it will sound fine. Like the upper melody can become a lower melody, and in a counterpoint way, nothing will be wrong. Like all the rules will be respected. To do this, we have to check all the inversion of the intervals, because, for example, when I transpose this C up 2 octaves, for example here, I get a sixth with this E. So the transposition of a third gives me a sixth after an octave. The transposition of a sixth gives me a third. The transposition of an octave gives me a unison. So these are the intervals. These here are the intervals that I can use in double counterpoint at the octave. Like I cannot use the fifth, for example, that I could use in normal counterpoint, because the transposition of the fifth gives me a fourth, and we don't want fourth. So I wrote here like a Frère Jacques-like melody. And here a counterpoint that we can listen to it. So everything works fine, but more than that, the interesting thing is that here I have a tenth, that it's like a third. Here I have an octave, so it's good. You can check all of it and you will see that I don't use fifth. The only fifth I use is this one, but it's treated as a passing note, as a dissonance. So treating it as a dissonance is good. Like here I have a dissonance and I treat it a ninth, and I treat it like a dissonance. So when I make the transposition, it will work. Now I will transpose all of this, of the flute melody, I will transpose it down 2 octaves by copying it to this bassoon line. Just a second. So now I copied it, and you can check that this third here became a sixth here. The octave here, or unison here, became an octave here. So everything works, and where I have these passing notes, they were treated as a passing note. So if you check just these 2 lines between bassoon and oboe, you see that all the rules are respected. So now I can cancel this. So writing a counterpoint, I wrote 2 in some way, because this one works and it's different thing. Let's listen to it. So this technique is very useful with fugues, when you have to write themes and then have to pass through all the voices, upper voices and lower voices. So when you write a subject and counter subject for fugues, you will for sure use double counterpoint technique. Now let's try an even craziest technique for composing, that is the double counterpoint at the 12th. That means that this Frère Jacques oboe tune will be transposed up at 12th, and so we can use even less intervals. Check it here. We can use the unison, because when you transpose it by a 12, that it's an octave plus a fifth, it becomes a fifth. The third becomes a tenth, and the fifth becomes the octave. Nothing more. If you want to check all the transposition, you will see that nothing more can be used. That means that we have to use unisons, thirds, and fifths. That's it. So let's write a counterpoint on this Frère Jacques melody right here. So we start from a fifth, then becomes a third here, then becomes a unison. So we already used the 3 intervals we can use. So maybe we can make it longer. So here it becomes a third again. And then we can go back a third, and we go down to a unison. So we just used, as you can see, we just used fifth, thirds, unisons, and so on. Let's listen to it. Okay, very good. Now I can copy here in the lowest voice. I will copy this counterpoint I wrote for the flute in the upper voice, so we'll make it a lower voice. Well, I could do whatever. Now I am doing this, so let's do it. And then G, A, G. And then I will copy the Frère Jacques melody here on the flute, but I will transpose it by a 12th. So it becomes like this. Hey, sorry, this mouse. Okay. And you can see that everything works, because what was a fifth became an octave, as we saw here. What was a third here became a tenth, as we said here, and what was unison here becomes a fifth, that is a 12th. Anyway, it works very fine. So let's listen to it. First we will have what we already listened, and then the same thing with the 12th transposition.